Yesterday was Memorial Day, and it got me thinking about how some people are confused about Memorial Day. Looking at social media yesterday, definitely affirmed that. Memorial Day was created to honor and mourn those who died while they were serving in the United States Armed Forces. There's a day for veterans. That's November 11th. That's also a federal holiday to honor our veterans of armed forces. And there's an Armed Forces Day this year that was May 16th, and that's to honor those who are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. Hi, this is Kate Bennett, Director of Music at the Presbyterian Church of Chestertown, Maryland. Memorial Day began in 1868, but it wasn't made into a federal holiday until 1971. It began right after the Civil War. And there are many different places in the South and the North that claim they started it. Originally, it was called Decoration Day because you decorate the graves of those who have died in wars. And it was decorating the soldiers from the Civil War that began it. Veterans Day became a federal holiday in 1938. And Armed Forces Day is not a federal holiday, but it's been around since 1950. Decoration Day. Also, it was a day when people wore poppies, and that came from a poem by John McCrae in Flanders Field, where he noticed all the poppies growing between the graves of those who had died in northern France and Belgium in Flanders Field. And that poem became very popular and people wore poppies. I haven't seen any poppies lately. I don't know if anyone still does that. It made me think about a hymn we have in our hymnal, number 354, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, where mine eyes have seen the glory. That was written during the Civil War, right at the beginning of the Civil War, by Julia Ward Howe. A tune for the Battle Hymn of the Republic was originally from Camp Meeting Tune, a folk hymn. Camp meetings, their tunes were in an oral tradition. They were not written down. But the tune for Glory, Glory, Hallelujah comes from that camp meeting song called Canaan's Happy Shore. Now, in 1861, John Brown's Body was written to that tune. John Brown was a militant abolitionist. He led a raid at Harper's Ferry at the armory there to get arms, hoping to arm the slaves to uprise. This was a time before the Civil War when anti-slavery and the South were starting to war with each other. John Brown led this raid, but he was captured, and then Harper's Ferry was in the state of Virginia at that time. Now it's in West Virginia. And he was captured and quickly tried for treason and murder, and he was hanged. Harper's Ferry occurred in October of 1859, and he was hanged in December of that same year. John Brown's death escalated the tensions between the North and the South and led to the South's secession in 1860. So John Brown's Body was a song that was popular and they knew. And this woman, Julia Ward Howe, she and her husband were both abolitionists. And she was in a carriage in a traffic jam of those days, going from Virginia back to DC, and stuck in the carriage, the soldiers around her were singing John Brown's Body and that beautiful chorus, glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. She was accompanied by a reverend who said to her, why don't you write some good words for that tune? And according to legend, she did that night in her hotel in Washington, D.C., suddenly feel inspiration and jumped up out of bed and wrote down all the words to the Battle Hymn of the Republic. She wrote them in 1861. It was published in 1862. Like I said, it's number 354 in our hymnal. And why is it in our hymnal? Well, let me read you the notation here at the bottom of the tune. Though its biblical roots are often overlooked, this text incorporates many apocalyptic images, such as the coming of the Lord in glory in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, the winepress, Isaiah 63, and Revelation 14 and 19, and the sharp sword in Isaiah and Revelation. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. God's truth is marching on. And verse 2, as God has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat, and is sifting out all human hearts before the judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer. Oh, be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. And verse 3, in the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make us holy, let us live to make all free while God is marching on. You can hear her abolitionist self in that hymn and her knowledge of the Bible. So a hymn that started at the Civil War and appears in our hymnal today, the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Mine eyes have seen the glory. Peace be with you.